Yeah. What happens? I mean, what goes through your when I told you, oh, I'll spend an entire day planning revenge
Yeah.
or vengeance. What what happens in your head when you're wronged, when you think you've been wronged, when somebody's
Well, often at times I go, okay, let's say I pull this revenge off. In all the times in my life when I have done it, how did I feel after?
pretty shitty?
Yeah, shitty or at best disappointed, you know? And why am I telling myself it's going to be different this time? And the idea of thinking about what you're going to think after is like a really powerful way. Do you know the word Epicurean?
I don't.
That was the rival school to the Stoics. There's the Stoics and the Epicureans. And Epicurean also in English tends to mean like loves pleasure, indulges every whim. And that's not really what they thought at all. But Epicurus, what he would say, he was, let's say, more pleasure seeking than the Stoics. He would say though, like if you're like, hey, let's share this bottle of wine. He's like, you can't think about just how it's going to feel on the way down. You have to think about how you're going to feel after, and that part of the experience has to be put into the calculation.
Okay.
But humans are bad at this, right? Like we tell ourselves, oh, if I make this amount of money, then I'll feel secure and good. If I get with this person, then I'll feel it'll be amazing, and then I'll feel good. And people will look. If I get this car, if I win this office, if I hit this number on the chart, like we tell ourselves this lie that like this thing will do something for us. Now, the first time or when you're younger, we can excuse this because like we don't have, although there's all sorts of wisdom out there telling us that it's not going to do what we think it's going to do for us. We haven't directly tested the hypothesis ourselves. But I think as you get older, to still be falling for that lie is a problem, right? Like, how you feel when you have a hangover. You got to take, like, that should change the drinking that you do. That, I don't know, your marriage is incredibly important to you, and certainly not worth a few minutes of pleasure. And yet you, in the moment, are considering doing something that, would blow that up. Or, all your other accomplishments have never made you feel secure or like you've arrived, that there's an emptiness or a hollowness to them. And yet you go, it's different this time. Like,
Why do we? I mean, yeah.
well, I think from an evolutionary standpoint, it makes total sense, right? Like, if humans were good at being like, I'm good, I don't need any more. Like, enoughness is not a great evolutionary feeling, but like insatiability makes you go on to the next and the next and the next thing. And so that can be good for the species as a whole, but really bad for the individual.
Makes
I
sense.
I think we are not designed to, our biology is not inclined to make us feel content and happy and secure. And it takes a lot of work, like, to counteract that impulse.
How have you done it?
I mean, I struggle with it like everybody else. I try to walk through this process. Like, how am I going to, like, it's not that, to me, like, going like, okay, hey, if I get on the other side of this accomplishment, this achievement, whatever, it's not going to make me feel, so it's not going to magically fill some hole in my soul. That doesn't mean it's not worth doing. I can find other reasons to do it. Like, it's challenging, it's interesting, it's beneficial to people around me. Like, there's other reasons to do it. So and then what I find is that if I'm doing it for those different reasons, the outcome, if I'm lucky enough to get it, I feel differently about it too, because there's not a false expectation that was impossible to meet. But I think I'm constantly trying to stop and go, why do I keep finding myself in this same, and the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Like that's like the kind of the human condition. And I'm like, why do I keep sort of backing myself into this corner, finding myself going down this lane? And then I'm like, I know better than this. I think I'm doing it better than I was when I was 19, but like, I'm still doing some version of it. And I think that's kind of, we're all battling these kind of scripts or these patterns that we picked up on in our lives. And we're trying to get a little better at it as we go.